Last month was month of January is Sanctity of Human Life month, and of course Ann was going to be with us last month, but sickness got in the way. And of course, it's the time of year a lot of people's getting sick. So I'm just so glad she's doing much better. Ann Russell is actually the executive director at the Blue Ridge Women's Center, and we're so excited about having her today. So Ann, you come on up and share what God's laid on your heart.
Good morning. I'm so glad to see this chair. I was at a CrossFit competition yesterday from like 8:30 to 2 o'clock, and it's a long time to stand and watch your husband and son participate in a CrossFit competition. So I'm going to sit, maybe. Thank y'all so much for having me. It's been a lot of years since I've been here. But it is a pleasure to be here, and I love the teens being down here in the front. And how many of you know a little something about Blue Ridge Women's Center? I see Michelle. Yes, Michelle knows. Blue Ridge Women's Center years ago was called Crisis Pregnancy Center in Roanoke Valley. We've been around since 1984, and it is quite an extraordinary place. I want to thank you guys for partnering with us and starting today doing your baby bottle campaign, because it's churches, businesses, and individuals that do that really help us to keep the doors open and ministering to families. So I love the scriptures that were read today, and I love how you talked about, we need to meet people where they're at. And that's exactly what we do. As Pastor said, last month we celebrated Sanctity of Human Life Sunday. And we know that all life is precious. Psalm 139, before you were born, you mattered to God. Before all of us were born, we mattered to God. One of the things that we really strive to do is to help men and women who walk through our doors feel hope. Because when they walk through the doors, they may not feel hope. So basically, what we do is we minister to the most vulnerable, those who might find themselves in an unplanned pregnancy. And I venture to say that just about everybody in this room knows someone who has experienced an unplanned pregnancy. I like to call them unexpected pregnancies because we know God plans everything. 31 years ago, I was at Liberty University studying to be a missionary. And I found myself involved with someone who I should not have been. I knew he wasn't living for the Lord, and I was away from home, away from my family, away from my church family. And the relationship became very abusive. And the last night that this man abused me was the night that I conceived a child. Now, my parents were supporters of Crisis Pregnancy Center, and so for me, abortion was not an option. Did it cross my mind? Sure. You never know where your thought process may go when you find yourselves in a situation that you never imagined you'd be in. But after that, I realized I have two options. I'm either going to parent this child or I'm going to make an adoption plan. I went to Crisis Pregnancy Center to receive counseling for my unplanned pregnancy, whether or not I wanted to parent or choose to make an adoption plan. and walked up those steps in that building that was the corner of Williamson and Liberty, feeling so broken, so used, so empty. And every person that I met was kind and loving and compassionate. I went in feeling stressed and hopeless, and I left feeling hope. So I was 7 months pregnant, and my sister-in-law and my sister were both pregnant too. And my mom had set a crib up, and my dad took me in there and said, "You see this bed right here? This bed is for your baby too, if you want a parent." So my unexpected pregnancy is 30 years old, and she is now the executive director for the Liberty Godparent Home at Liberty. There's a purpose and there's a plan for everyone. I thought God had brought me through everything that I went through for the position that I'm in now, but no, it was much bigger than that. Kristen was born to do what she does. Every one of those children that come through the door of Blue Ridge Women's Center in their mother's womb, there's a purpose. There's a purpose for them. So I mentioned the word hope. So I like to take a little acrostic and just to give you guys an idea of a little bit more about what we do and who we are and why we serve the Lord the way we do at Blue Ridge Women's Center. So H, we hear them. Not just the woman, but that father too. You see, we know there's a breakdown in family in our country, and we've been the Blue Ridge Women's Center for several years now. But what about dads? What about those men who walk through? So we have started a men's ministry and are training men to go into a counseling room with the fathers and work with them just like we have women advocates that work with the women. And I like to say it's preparing them for the ride home. Because when he waits in the waiting room, you've pretty much left him out of this whole process. But if we have another man pouring into this man and helping him to see you can do this, we're here to help you. We're here to encourage you. We want you to feel empowered. You can see a huge difference in the outcome of the family unit. So often these women who come in are told by everyone around them what they should do. The men as well. We say, what is it you want? What do you want to do? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? The O is for options. I think everybody in this room is fully aware that women have a legal right to choose. But don't they deserve to know what their choices are? Many women feel like they come in and they feel the only option is to terminate. But they don't realize that they can make a plan for their baby, that they can actually, in some ways, be a part of that child's life through an open adoption. Or they may feel like, how am I going to feed and clothe this baby? We provide for them resources. And we have a store in our center that they can shop in for baby items and maternity clothes. We used to call it the boutique, but when we started the men's ministry, the male advocates said, you're going to have to change the name of that place. There's no man going to shop in a boutique. So we changed it to the store. We're going to give her information about abortion risks and procedures, because she may not even realize what that might look like in her life. And we can put her in touch with an adoption counselor that's going to talk to her about her rights and his rights too, and be a safe place for them to meet to discuss that. There's one other option that I bet a lot of you in this room don't know much about. But it's an option that's available to a woman after she takes the first pill in the chemical abortion or abortion pill protocol. Has anybody in this room heard about abortion pill reversal? Did you know that if a woman takes the first pill in an abortion pill and she has regrets, she can reverse it? That's an option. That's a choice for her. So here recently we had a client come and she called in. We lost our medical director back in August, and so we're having an interim medical director, but our medical director actually did the abortion pill reversal protocol. And I can't tell you the number of babies that have been born healthy and mothers that were so thankful for an option they didn't know they had. This young woman called and said, Saturday I took the first pill and I saw a billboard for reversal. They called the Abortion Pill Rescue Program, and they put her in touch with a physician in Lynchburg who administered the reversal, which is simply just administering progesterone. She's been coming into our clinic weekly for ultrasounds to make sure that everything's going okay with her pregnancy. And she was there this past week, and she has a beautiful, viable pregnancy thanks to the reversal. P, provided. What do we provide? Lots of things, and they're all free. Pregnancy tests, ultrasound, STI testing, post-abortion counseling, professional counseling with an area counseling agency, spiritual and personal growth development and curriculum, classes that we offer where they can earn points for our baby store, all provided for them free of charge. And E, as we encourage. By definition, to encourage is to improve someone's spirit by giving them support, hope, and confidence. I love encouraging people. I love building people up. And I love for someone to feel empowered to be able to do something that they may have thought they couldn't do. We want to be the hands and the feet of Christ. We want to see every man, woman, and child who walks through the doors of Blue Ridge Women's Center that if they don't know the Lord, they need to be a disciple of Christ. And we may not always have that opportunity to be able to fully sit down and explain to them what does it mean to have a lasting relationship with Christ. But I know of churches that I can reach out to, like Bethel Baptist, and say, hey, I got a girl, she's needing some encouragement, she's needing some hope. And we can try to get them to the church. And I feel like you guys would embrace a young woman or a young man who walks into this building And you guys could be the first positive experience they've ever had in a church. Recently, we had a young girl come in, young teenage girl. She was pregnant and very far along in her pregnancy. And her parents were with her and very supportive, very encouraging. And she decided she wanted to make an adoption plan. We were able to call a local adoption agency, and they came in and they met with her and sat with her and her parents. We were able to get her a referral to see a counselor and for them to get family counseling. But 2 days ago, that adoption agency posted pictures of a little baby being placed with their adoptive family. And that baby was the baby of that young teenage girl that came into our center. Those are the things that we see, that we experience, that we can just really feel the Lord is really working. We're getting ready to open up a second clinic. And that clinic is going to be right next door to an abortion center. And we're going to have the opportunity to have women and men who are at that last minute getting ready to make a decision to terminate their pregnancy, that they could have an opportunity to come over and sit with someone that's going to give them information, that's going to love on them, that's going to share the truth and love with them. Give them an ultrasound. Did you know that in the state of Virginia, you no longer have to have an ultrasound before you have an abortion? Do you know how dangerous that is for a woman to not even know that she has a viable pregnancy, or maybe it's an ectopic pregnancy, which could be fatal for her? Did you also know that in the state of Virginia, a woman or her boyfriend can call and order an abortion pill, and it's delivered to their home? They have a telehealth appointment. The protocol is delivered to their home, and they experience that abortion at home alone. How devastating might that be? One of the other things that we do that is probably one of the most awesome things is we offer hope and healing for men and women who have experienced termination. It's not the end of the world. 40% of the women who have had an abortion say that they are Christian or were attending church regularly when they had their abortion. And they're terrified to go to their church to share with them. So we offer for them a safe place to be able to work through that, for them to know there's hope, there's healing, and there's forgiveness. One of the biggest things that we hear a whole lot from people is, people that are pro-life. And yes, I'm pro-life, but I say I'm life-centric. I believe in full and abundant life for mom, for dad, and for baby. And that's why we have the programs that we have for the entire family. But one of the things that we hear a whole lot is that, those pro-lifers, they just want to save the baby, and they don't care about anything after that. That's not true. And if you spent one day at Blue Ridge Women's Center, you would see that that is absolutely not true. Right, Michelle? It's an amazing place. And there are opportunities to give, not just financially, although I'm very thankful that you guys are doing this baby bottle campaign. But we need volunteers. We need people who are willing to be trained to be client advocates, both male and female, that would sit down and spend time with men and women talk with them, minister to them. We need medical staff. We are a medical clinic. So we need people who can be trained to do ultrasounds, run pregnancy tests. We need people in admin who can help do things like shake out those bottles of coins. We're a community ministry where we want to see community come together and minister to the most vulnerable. Minister to the men and women who find themselves in a position that they don't feel like they have any way out of. A place where you can plant a seed, which is really kind of what we do a lot of times, is we plant seeds, and we don't always see the end result. But to be a part of this, to be a part of something that allows you to pour into young men and young women in a mighty way is such a blessing. Last year, we filled 1,113, not we, churches, businesses, individuals, filled 1,113 bottles and returned them. Each bottle holds about $24 in change. We like the paper money too. But each dollar that comes in represents some sort of service that we can help provide to these people. We're a safe place. Another thing the church can do is to be ambassadors for us. You know, I mentioned earlier that everybody here has either known someone or will know someone who's found themselves in an unplanned pregnancy. You can be an ambassador and tell them where they could go, where's a safe place, and encourage them to know that there's a place where they can find hope, there's a place where they can find healing. You know, all those years ago when I found myself pregnant in college thinking, I'm never going to be a missionary. I felt very strongly that the Lord was calling me into missions. And I made choices and put myself in situations. And I thought, there's no way I can be used now. About 3 or 4 years ago, I was having a pity party and thinking that same thought. And I clearly felt the Lord tell me, you are a missionary. You are a missionary. You're serving me every day when you're helping men and women in the community. Some of you in this room right now may have a story. Maybe it's unplanned pregnancy. Maybe a child that had an unplanned pregnancy. Maybe it's an abortion somewhere in the past. God wastes nothing. He uses anything and everything in your life if you would just be opened up to it. Now, when you guys grab your bottles today, I know Pastor has some up here and back there, and you're filling that bottle, it's just one thing that you can do. But pray about what God may have for you. Pray about, do you have a story? Do you have a story that God may be able to use to help men and women in the community who may not have hope, who may just need someone in their life that would take the time to listen to them and love on them and encourage them and help them to see this isn't the end of the world. This could be just the beginning of something absolutely beautiful in their lives. So I ask for prayer as well as I finish up. I told Pastor, I said, I don't know how long I'll be able to talk because I get winded and then I start coughing. So I would ask for prayer as we venture out and opening up this new clinic. We're going to be in the crosshairs of some people now. We've been in a safe little spot on the corner of Williamson and Airport for several years. Now we're going to be in the crosshairs of people who don't like what we do. So we'd ask for prayer in that God would open the doors that He would want open and close the ones He wants closed. Would also ask for prayer as we grow and develop our men's ministry. I know there's probably some men in this room who would really desire to pour into the lives of young men. And I would ask that you pray that in everything we say and in everything we do, that we remember Blue Ridge Women's Center is God's ministry, and we want to do every bit of it to honor and glorify Him and to give Him the praise. I would ask you guys just to bow your head, and then I'm going to give thanks back to Pastor. God, I thank you for this place. I thank you for this church. I thank you that this church has been supportive of Blue Ridge Women's Center for so long. I thank you, Father, that Lord, you have given me an opportunity to come here and share. I pray, Father, that if there's anyone in this room that has a story, that, Lord, you would just prick their hearts, that you would prick their heart that they might say, Lord, I know you waste nothing. And allow you, Father, to use whatever they have experienced. I ask, Father, as this church family kicks off this baby bottle campaign, that, Lord, each person would look at the card that's on the bottle and look at our websites just to see what we do and how we minister, and to read the stories of the people who have been touched and blessed by the ministry. I ask, Father, that you would be with each person in this room and their families, that you would bless them, that you would allow them to feel your presence. And Lord, I also ask that if there's anyone in this room that does not know you, that, Father, that they would come to the saving knowledge of your Son. In Jesus' name, amen.
Before the praise team leads us in this invitation, I just want to give you an opportunity to pray for somebody, maybe somebody you know has went through an abortion and you know they're struggling. Would you come and pray for them? And maybe you're here today and you haven't really talked to anybody yet. And Ann would be more than happy to get you a place you need to be, to talk to someone you need to talk to. But I want you to understand this church is here to love you no matter where you're at, no matter what decisions you made in life. Maybe some of you are just, you're struggling with a situation that you're dealing with right now, this altar's open. This is an open invitation to come and pray. And while you're coming and praying, and just grab a baby bottle on the way out. Make a commitment that you're going to fill up at least one of those baby bottles to help support this very, very important ministry. And continue to pray, like she says, pray that as they start to open up this new place, I'm sure there has already been challenges. There's going to be challenges in the days ahead. So pray for them and support them. As she said, you can fill up these baby bottles with change. How many of you collect change at home? So y'all could probably go home and fill a couple of them up. Go ahead and do that. But also you can make a check out the Blue Ridge Women's Center, and 100% of that will go toward a very, very important ministry. So thank you ahead of time for giving and supporting what God's doing through this particular ministry. Let's all stand. Let's sing. This altar's open. If you want somebody to pray with you, I'm right here. Be more than happy to. Any of our deacons, make yourself available down here toward the front. We'll be glad to pray for you as we sing.